My husband Mark had been going on business trips twice a month for the past 6 months, but his phone was always off. To ease my suspicions, I secretly placed a GPS tracking device in his car. When I looked at the address he went to, I was shocked. It was a place I never expected, and the truth I learned: sometimes we discover that we know nothing about the people we love most. Don't miss the shocking ending of this story. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because the truth I was about to learn would show that everything I knew about my 10-year marriage was a lie. I'm Jennifer Adams, a 35-year-old teacher. Mark and I had been married for 10 years and had an 8-year-old son named Jake. We lived a happy life in Seattle. At least I thought we did. Mark was a project manager at a software company. He had normal working hours, came home regularly, and was devoted to his family. Until 6 months ago. It all started with his promotion news. "Jennifer, great news. They made me regional manager. But this means monthly business trips." I was very happy. "Congratulations, Mark. Which cities will you go to?" "Portland, Vancouver, San Francisco. Client visits, meetings." When he went on his first business trip, everything was normal. He went for 2 days, called in the evenings, talked about work. But on the second trip, I started noticing strange things. "Mark, how are the meetings going?" "Very busy, Jennifer. Sometimes I can't answer the phone." "So which hotel are you staying at?" "Well, places the company arranged. I don't know the details." These answers bothered me, but I didn't think too deeply about it. On the third trip, he started acting even stranger. While packing his suitcase, I saw there were no work clothes, casual clothes, sneakers. "Mark, are you going to meetings and sportswear?" This explanation didn't make sense at all. When he returned from the fourth trip, he became even stranger. Normally he would come tired. This time he was very happy and energetic. "How was the trip?" "Great. I met amazing people. Very fun. Productive meetings." "Fun. Isn't this a business meeting?" "Of course it's business. Just nice clients." That night when he put his phone to charge, I noticed there were incoming messages, but he deleted them immediately. "Mark, who was the message from?" "Work. Not important." But I wasn't fast enough to read the messages. On the fifth trip, something was definitely wrong. Before leaving, he had changed his passwords. Phone, laptop, everything. "Mark, why did you change your password?" "Company security rules. Mandatory update." This excuse seemed very forced. That night while I was reading a bedtime story to our son Jake, he asked, "Mom, why doesn't Dad spend time with us anymore?" My heart broke. Jake was right. Mark wasn't as caring as before. "Dad works a lot, Jake. He travels for work, but he used to work too. Now it's different. Children are always the sharpest observers." I felt what Jake noticed too. Before the 6th trip, I made my decision. I would buy a GPS tracking device. I bought a small magnetic tracking device from an electronics store to put under Mark's car. "Is this legal?" I asked the salesperson. "If you're putting it on your own spouse's car, no problem, but don't use it for stalking." That night after Mark fell asleep, I placed the device under his car in the garage. My heart was beating like it would come out. The next morning, Mark left for his business trip. "I'm going to Portland. I'll stay for 3 days." "Okay, honey. Take care of yourself." We kissed and he left. I immediately opened the GPS app on my phone. The first 2 hours went normally. He was going south on I-5 highway, towards Portland. In the afternoon he stopped somewhere. When I looked at the map, it wasn't Portland. It was Wilsonville, a small town in Oregon. Maybe he got gas, I thought. But he stayed in the same place for 4 hours. This wasn't normal at all. At 8 p.m. he moved. But he didn't go to Portland. He went to another address. When I looked on Google Earth, I froze. It wasn't a business center. It was a small detached house. And he stayed there all night. My heart rate increased. Mark was staying in a house. Not a hotel, a house. The next morning I opened my phone early and called. "Mark, how are you? How are the meetings going?" "Oh, Jennifer, very busy. I got to the hotel very late last night." "Which hotel are you staying at?" "Well, Marriott, downtown Portland." But according to GPS, he wasn't in Portland at all. He was still in the same house. This was a direct lie. Mark was lying directly to me. He stayed in the same house for the second day. I started investigating too. That house address, 1247 Maple Street, Wilsonville, Oregon. I looked on Google Street View, a small 2-story nice house with a garden. I researched property records. The house owner Sarah Mitchell, 32 years old. I had never heard the name Sarah Mitchell. When Mark came home, he acted like always. How was the trip? Great. Portland clients were very satisfied. Which clients did you meet with? Well, big tech companies. I can't say names, there's a confidentiality agreement. Another lie, because Mark had never been in Portland. That night after Mark fell asleep, I started researching Sarah Mitchell. I found her Facebook profile, 32 years old, beautiful woman. Relationship status, it's complicated. Her profile showed she worked as a freelance graphic designer. She had no children but many travel photos. When I looked at her photos, I was shocked. In one photo, Mark was there. My heart stopped. Mark and Sarah were posing together, smiling. They looked very happy. She had written under the photo, "My happiest day, fine." This photo was dated 2 months ago. It coincided with Mark's business trip time. Now I knew the truth. Mark was cheating, and this had been going on for 6 months. Looking through her older photos, I could see a timeline. The first photo with Mark was from 7 months ago. The next morning after Mark went to work, I searched his desk more thoroughly. A handwritten letter from Sarah Mitchell was hidden behind some documents. "My love, Mark. Last weekend was wonderful. I love you so much. Knowing that you'll be here completely soon makes me happy. I'll take care of Jake too. Love, Sarah." Seeing Jake's name made me sick. They were talking about my son too. What did "you'll be here completely" mean? Was Mark planning to leave me? I took photos of the letter with my phone. This would be evidence for later. A week later, Mark went on another business trip. This time San Francisco. I'll stay for 4 days, but according to GPS, he went to Sarah's house again. This time I was prepared. I left my son with my mother and headed towards Wilsonville. 3 hours later, I was in front of Sarah's house. I could see from the window the most painful scene of my life. Mark and Sarah were cooking together in the kitchen. They looked like a married couple. Sarah looked pregnant. This was the final blow. Mark wasn't just cheating, he was having a child with Sarah. I went and knocked on the door. When Mark opened the door, his face turned white. "Jennifer, what are you doing here? I'm your wife, Mark, and you were supposed to be in San Francisco." Sarah came too. She was really pregnant. "Mark, is this your wife?" I looked at Sarah. "Yes, I'm Mark's wife, Jennifer." "And who are you?" Sarah was shocked. "I'm Mark's fiancé. He said he was divorced." Here the truth was coming out. Mark was lying to both me and Sarah. Mark didn't get divorced. We're still married and have an 8-year-old son. Sarah started crying. "Mark, is this true?" Mark finally spoke. Jennifer, I can explain." "What will you explain?" "The double life you've been living for 6 months. Sarah interrupted. "Mark, you told me you were divorced. The baby." I screamed. "Are you pregnant by him?" Sarah nodded through tears. "Mark, you know this is over between us, right?" Mark started begging. "Jennifer, please, let's talk. I can change. You lied to me every day for 6 months. You lied to Sarah too. How can I trust you?" Sarah also spoke. "Jennifer, I didn't know. If I had known." "Sarah, you're as much a victim as I am. Mark deceived both of us." That night, I spent crying in my hotel room. My 10-year marriage was over. How would I explain to Jake? His father was going to have a child with someone else. The next day I met with a lawyer. I filed for divorce. "GPS records are very strong evidence," said my lawyer. "It proves Mark was lying." Mark had to leave the house. He looked very sad while packing his things. "Jennifer, I'm really sorry. Mark, you lied to me every day for 6 months. How can I trust you?" Jake cried when he saw his father leaving. "Why is Dad leaving?" Mark hugged Jake. "Son, Dad made a mistake, but I'll always love you." It was very painful to have this conversation. That night Jake wanted to sleep in my bed. "Mom, you won't leave me, will you?" "Never, Jake. I will never leave you." I also talked to Sarah. I had called her. "Sarah, I'm not angry with you. You're also Mark's victim. What about my baby? If I had known Mark was married." "Sarah, your baby is innocent. Take care of him. But be careful with Mark." I had to give this warning. The divorce process took 4 months. Mark looked very sorry in court. "Your Honor, I'm very sorry. I'm ready to do whatever it takes for my family." But it was too late. Once trust is broken, it can't be repaired. The judge decided. I got the house and Jake's alimony. Mark could see Jake on weekends. It was hard to explain the truth to Jake. "Mom, I want to stay with you. Dad did wrong." 6 months later, Mark and Sarah had their baby. It was a girl. They named her Emma. Mark showed Jake Emma's photos. "Jake, this is your half-sister Emma." Jake looked at the photo. "She's very beautiful, but Mom won't be sad, right?" "Jake, I won't be sad. Emma is your sister. You can love her." Jake was acting very maturely. He didn't hold grudges against Emma. Mark now takes Jake to Sarah's house on weekends. Jake spends time with Emma. Mom, Emma is very small. I need to take care of her. I was proud when I heard these words. Jake was learning to be a big brother. Now I'm raising my son alone. It's hard, but we're happy. I also make time for myself now. I went to yoga classes, made new friends. I'm also successful in my work life. I got promoted to assistant principal at school. The end of a 10-year marriage is painful, but sometimes new beginnings are necessary. Mark married Sarah and they had their baby, but he also comes to see Jake. Jake sometimes comes back very happy when he goes to Mark's house. Emma smiled at me, he says. Sometimes I wonder, is he also cheating on Sarah? But that's not my problem anymore. I'm focusing on my own life. What do you think? Have you ever been suspicious of your spouse? What would you do in such a situation? Would you use a GPS tracking device? How would you act if you suspected cheating? Share your experiences in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for similar stories. See you in the next video.